It's going to be almost 100 degrees for the next 4 days. So come along with me and I'll show you everything that I'm doing to prepare my homestead for this crazy heat wave. When plants wilt, it is a natural adaptation, but there are plants that are more heat tolerant than others. And it's a common misconception that when your plants wilt, they need water immediately. When they wilt, it's just showing that they're losing water faster than they can absorb it. But what you want to look out for is to make sure that they bounce back as the day progresses. At the end of the night, if they still look like this, they probably need a drink. A good way to know if your plants need water is by just taking your index finger and sticking it down deep into the soil. The tip of your finger will be at the root level, and when you pull it out, if you see soil stuck to the tip of your finger, that usually is a sign that the soil is moist. But in this case, the soil is crumbly and just falling off my finger. That means it's time to water. If you can, the best time to water is in the morning because you're allowing your plants to prepare for the heat of the day. So if you can, get out here as early as possible and give your plants a nice deep watering. This will ensure that the soil is saturated all the way down to the root level, so that way all of your plants can uptake as much moisture as they need to last throughout the day. Your second best option is watering your plants at night. And that's probably honestly what I'm gonna opt for today. The soil will still be moist and it'll give the opportunity for your plants to recover overnight. But if your temperatures stay elevated, your plants might need even more water. So if you have a prolonged heat wave like we're about to have, it's really good to stay on top of your plants and use this simple soil test to know when you have to water. Another essential way to help your garden survive during the worst heat waves is by keeping your soil covered. And you can either do this by densely planting your garden and having it grow way ahead of time. I mean, we're getting into June, the middle to end of June, so people's gardens are starting to fill out really nicely. So I don't have to worry about it with this tomato bed, for example. But earlier in the year, we still get pretty hot temperatures. So what I did was cover all of my soil with a layer of straw mulch. You'd be surprised by just how effective the thinnest layer of mulch could be. It's going to prevent the sun's rays from beating down on your soil and heating it up. It'll help to maintain your soil's temperatures, but it's also going to prevent evaporation, which is essential for ensuring that your soil is staying moist and providing all of that necessary water to your plants. Another way that you can keep your soil covered and more heat sensitive plants protected is by using a shade cloth. And it doesn't have to be a quote unquote shade cloth. In this situation, I'm just going to be using good old bug netting, but anything that can provide shade to heat sensitive plants is going to help significantly. Again, we're minimizing the exposure from the sun, which is going to prevent wilting, prevent sucking up all that moisture out of our plants' leaves, and it's also going to protect the soil. So we're going to have 100-degree temperatures. No plants really like to be that hot. And I know my peppers actually like temperatures to be in preferably in the 70s or the 80s. So what I'm going to do is just lay this bug netting across my whole pepper bed for the next 4 or 5 days. And this is really going to help to keep them protected from those harsh rays and keep my peppers growing just as if it was spring. This is exactly what a heavily and companion planted garden looks like. We're protecting the soil and we're just getting a bumper harvest. I did the exact same thing to one side of the roof on my greenhouse. It's a greenhouse. I want to keep it that way. I don't want all of my plants inside just dying from it getting 110, maybe even 120 degrees Fahrenheit in there, even with ventilation. So just throwing a shade cloth on the side of a greenhouse or the roof of a greenhouse that gets the most amount of exposure throughout the day can significantly help to regulate the temperatures inside. And as for my chickens, they're not so different from the garden. Two things are essential. Heat is extremely detrimental to your chickens. They actually survive really well in cooler temperatures. And when temperatures get this hot, it can be extremely dangerous because their natural body temperature is so much higher than ours. Sometimes it can reach upwards of 115 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes them so hardy in the cold. But that's what makes the extreme heat a killer. So inside of their chicken run, shade is essential. They can go underneath the chicken coop. They can go underneath all of our elderberry bushes. We even made them their own deck over here that they can escape under. And we've got even more trees around the property that they can go to if they absolutely need it. But I actually find them underneath the elderberry and underneath the coop quite a bit, because the way that it's designed, it actually allows for airflow to flow underneath the coop, which also helps to lower their body temperatures. So not only are they getting shade, but they're also getting a nice gentle breeze. I love using these 55-gallon barrels as rainwater collection systems. And this one just collects the water off of our chicken coop's roof. It gets routed from some 2-inch PVC. Water just pours in the top right here. This whole 55-gallon drum fills up. I've got a valve right here that I can isolate this whole thing if we get a leak or something, if I need to fix it. And then we have these little nipples that they could just peck at and water comes out. And 55 gallons of water is plenty for them to last 4, 5, 6, probably even over a week. So this is a great thing to have on hand. And during these long hot periods, it's essential to give them lots of treats as well. We'll buy them a couple watermelons or a cantaloupe, or if we've got some growing in the garden, which we're still waiting for them to grow right now, but we'll just give them half a melon a day. It's full of vitamins and minerals and water, so it's great to give to your chickens in order to get them through a heat wave. But one thing I commonly see is people giving them ice water or frozen fruit. Try to stay away from that because it's a shock to the system. I'll tell you that chickens in nature have never had access to ice cold water like that. If you give them water or give them something that's high in moisture, they're gonna be fine. The last thing that we need to talk about is ourselves. As gardeners, we're usually so concerned with the garden, or as chicken keepers, concerned with our chickens, or homesteaders, both. But a lot of times we forget to care for ourselves, and we're so busy outside just working, we completely forget to keep ourselves protected and hydrated. So get yourself a nice hat, or maybe even a safari hat. A lot of them now, you can just dunk them in water and throw them on to keep yourself cool. And more importantly, make sure that you're going inside into an air-conditioned space like every 15 to 20 minutes. Being outside for that, for any given period of time when it's 100 degrees out, is just so unsafe. So if you're taking the time to watch my videos, I care about you as well, and I want to make sure that you are staying safe out in the garden and out on your homestead. So I hope these tips were helpful and keep you, your chickens, and your garden protected, and let's get through this heat wave together. Stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.